Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Endless Fixations. My name is Julianne,
And I'm Jessica.
and we've been away for a bit. I was on vacation. I went to Mexico, so sorry for the lack of episodes in the past 2 weeks, but we're back now.
It's a learning lesson for next time on how we should schedule things.
Maybe cue them up.
Yeah. We're going to have to, figure some things out for the next time one of us is on vacation, which probably won't be until the summer. It doesn't matter. Anyways.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it's just more like it's a learning curve. We'll do better next time. I'm so sorry for disappointing everyone.
Truly.
We're just going to launch into our topics today.
Right in there.
So Jess is going to start, and then later on I will talk about my Mexico experience and the one person that kept me sane through the entire thing. But Jess, take it away. What's your topic today?
So today I'm going to be talking about the concept, the history of leaked music. What is it? What is happening? Why does
Where'd
it
it come from?
What's going on? And before I start, I want to give a big thank you to Pitchfork because they had this beautiful timeline that I'm not going to say copied, but I kind of looked at fondly and input my own. I was like reading it and then going on little tangent researching and then adding my own little notes. But having a timeline was really helpful because this is a big topic. So I was like, how can I do this succinctly? So thank you, Pitchfork.
Thank you, Pitchfork. Seriously. Thank you for a lot.
Thank you for so much. You guys
So
are great. So what is leaked music? It's the unauthorized release of music. So it could be songs or albums coming out like weeks, months, days before the scheduled release date. It could be demos or scrapped work, which was never intended for public release, but is coming out anyways. So nowadays, leaks often originate from hackers who get unauthorized access to email or cloud storage accounts of artists, producers, record labels, and the main reason they do this is to sell the demos, the early releases for profit.
Right.
So, however, before music was digital, this still happened. Pressing plant leaks, so workers would sneak out vinyl test pressings, cassettes, CDs, bootleg vinyl and cassettes sold at flea markets, record fairs, mail order catalogs. There was like a tape trading network where fans would mail copies to each other of like tapes that they would get.
Right.
Radio stations would get promo CDs, and then the radio station would end up leaking the album because they would the record labels would send out these CDs before the release, and then the radio station would either like play it early or like someone at the record station was like, hey, I can sell this. So then they would distribute it themselves. Some famous pre-digital leaks included Prince, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and the Beatles. They all had widely circulated bootlegs. Michael Jackson and Madonna had album leaked by their promo CDs. Nirvana had demos and early mixes circulating on cassette before official releases. It's just a lot easier and more widespread now because of the internet. Yeah. And back in the day, it was like if someone had leaked an album in LA, that doesn't mean it's going to go to the whole country. It's just going to stay in its city, or like with Nirvana, sure, the demos might have been in Seattle because that's where they were, but that doesn't mean it's going to make its way to like Nashville, you know?
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it'd be like a slower leak, right? Because it'd be just being passed around like, here's this demo CD, or like a fucking floppy disk or something. So it makes a lot more sense why it was just kind of remaining local.
Yeah. And then before I get into Napster, which was like the big thing, there were music leaks that happened via MP3s and chat rooms. So Depeche Mode's Songs of Faith and Devotion in 1993 leaked through a chat room. In 1997, a Hungarian fan ripped an advanced cassette promo of U2's Pop and uploaded it online. In 1998, a Madonna single Frozen leaked after being recorded off a Singaporean radio station.
Oh my God.
I know. And then this resulted in Bill Clinton. He rushed a Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which was designed to protect copyright holders from online theft and unlawful reproduction or distribution of their work. I'm not going to pretend like I understand the laws or any of the legal stuff, but that's what the internet said. So
it's none of your business for now.
None of my business. But basically, like, they knew it was a problem. And this is in, like the middle to late 90s. So then Napster happens. So for those who don't know, for the babies listening to this and don't know what Napster is,
go to bed.
Go to bed. I'm just going to briefly describe what it is. That Napster and LimeWire, because LimeWire is the one that I used when I was like in middle school, because the world of peer-to-peer file sharing is so vast and would be like its whole own topic, surely.
Totally. Yeah.
But I'm just gonna do a little summary. So
just touch the surface.
Exactly. So Napster was a proprietary peer-to-peer file sharing application primarily associated with digital audio file distribution.
Okay, tongue twister.
If you've watched The Social Network, which some of us maybe.
I sure have. Maybe like 10,000 times minimum.
You've seen it a gazillion times. So
I have the script tattooed on my back, obviously.
The guy that Justin Timberlake plays is one of the founders, Sean Parker, and then there's another guy, Sean Fanning. So they're the ones who created Napster. And the peer-to-peer model involved a centralized database that indexed a complete list of all the things being shared, and then the connected clients, so you would be able to access what Napster had, and they had it all connected on their one server. So it couldn't function without the central database. So when Napster got shut down by the government, it just ended everything because it was all connected on one database, versus if you had LimeWire or Pirate Bay and you were downloading things, it was smaller servers. So it was harder to shut down.
Okay.
Yeah. So why did Napster shut down? How did it shut down?
So, I'm so sad.
A demo of Metallica's song I Disappear had been circulating before the official release, and it was even playing on radio stations before the song was out. So Metallica was like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, rightfully.
They're like, hello? And then they go and look and they see their entire back catalog is on Napster. And they're like,
oh my God.
What? So this resulted in them filing a lawsuit in 2000, which Dr. Dre joined in on. And the settlement was that Napster had to block music being shared by any artist that did not want their music to be shared. So if an artist saw that their catalog was on Napster, they could be like, I don't want it on there, and they would have to take it down.
Okay.
And then later on, some of the recording companies sued Napster on the grounds of copyright infringement. And I'm not going to get into all the legal stuff, but basically it shut it down in 2001.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I think and I'll get into this later, it's like the artists are taking it from like this is my art standpoint, like you're stealing my art. And then the record companies are like, money, you're stealing our money.
Exactly. So it's kind of like
it's both of them kind of working together for two different reasons, and they're both mad for two different reasons.
100%.
Yeah.
One of them is maybe a little more valid than the other.
I agree. And for the people who didn't grow up with this, I don't even know how to describe, for me, I will say.
Yeah.
Listening to music before, it's like I was young when LimeWire, I think I started getting into it probably when I was late elementary school, early middle school. And so I was a kid, I didn't have money to buy every CD I wanted. I could get CDs for Christmas or my birthday, but it's I can't buy all of them. I didn't have a job.
Exactly. And that was the way we listened to music, is we had to buy the album. Otherwise we wouldn't hear it. There was no YouTube even. So.
Exactly. YouTube wasn't even around yet. So it's impossible to get music. And then you find through, I don't even know what social media websites I was on, just the most random, MySpace, I guess, and all of those kind of things. And then you hear about people downloading music online and you're like, what? And then you go on LimeWire and download this program and you're like, I can get anything I want. I could just download
The world
it.
is my oyster?
Literally.
Yeah, you're not going to say no.
Yeah, and for free? What?
Oh, fui?
It was very exciting. Revolutionary.
You're just a kid. You don't realize.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so LimeWire was a similar thing. It was a free peer-to-peer file sharing client used for the download and distribution of pirated materials. I said another one.
Yes.
There was like Frostwire, whatever. There was Pirate Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still do it now, but like, I don't know how.
I don't know how it ends. I mean, the necessity to do so isn't there.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember like which of those services my mom used. I think it was probably LimeWire. I'll have to ask her after this, but it was just so cool because like she would download all of her like interesting music, very like alternative things. And so I was discovering a lot of artists through her and through that. But then there would be like, you know, really interesting demos and remixes that are just like, like they're not available anymore. You cannot find them. Like they were never officially released. So it was great for that. But I can understand now in retrospect how that was damaging to the artist. It's just like,
yeah,
I just wanted to listen to bops. Like I didn't know.
And like they also had like demos, live recordings. Like this was before Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Like you couldn't just see people's videos of recording. Like for me, I lived in a place that didn't have any concerts ever. So then I could hear other people from the big city with their recordings of like the bands that I love. It was just so cool.
Oh my God, I feel old.
This whole time I'm like, I feel ancient.
Yeah.
I've lived a whole lifetime.
Decrepit.
Yeah. And then at the time, there wasn't a lot of like social media, but Reddit was around. There was chat rooms. There was like forums for like specific interests. So then it was easy to talk about the demos and live recordings and get to know what is going on and like what's available. So another interesting thing happened at the same time. So Radiohead's Kid A, which was a highly anticipated album after the success of OK Computer.
Right.
They didn't want to do any promotion. So they didn't want to do a traditional album rollout. They refused to do promotion, no video, no singles, no press appearances. So Capitol Records created the iBlip, which was a Java app which could be embedded on fan sites that allowed users to stream the album and artwork and photos, and it linked to an Amazon like store before the release. But then they're letting fans stream the album before the release. So obviously the whole album gets uploaded to Napster.
Obviously.
What? But the album still debuted at number 1. So it's like,
because it's Radiohead.
I have a lot of examples of this. It's kind of like, does it matter? Like from the record company standpoint, when they're really worried about the money side of it, like this record still debuted at number 1, even though people could listen to the whole thing very, very easily.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll get into it, but it's like, I could imagine it depends on the artists and their impact already. Like Radiohead by that point was huge. So people were going to buy that album regardless. And they had gained a generational fan base.
Exactly.
That probably wasn't on Napster, wouldn't even know that shit. So, but for others, it's different.
Yeah. So before, artists and labels were really concerned about the leaks. So like, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, they were like, oh, fuck, this is going to wreck the music industry.
Yeah.
But it kind of just created more hype, honestly.
Yeah.
When things got leaked, it created more hypes and more sales. So the Eminem show, also extremely hyped, leaked in May 2002, even though they... At the time, it employed extreme security measures to make sure it didn't leak. No one at the label had a copy of it. The music was only available via in-person listening sessions, and it still leaked.
How is that even possible?
It was pirated by this group called Rabid Neurosis.
Great name.
So they were the first MP3 piracy group. They were best known for releasing highly anticipated albums by artists weeks, months before the official release date. And
okay.
I went down a little rabbit hole. This was so interesting.
Tell me.
There's a whole scene, as they call it, called the Juarez scene, which is referred to just as the scene. And it's an underground network of piracy groups specializing in obtaining and illegally releasing digital media.
Oh my God.
It's a whole anarchists. Underground network. Like, so they were meant to be like this hidden group and only sharing files with people in the community, like with each other. But then things got leaked because they're like sharing, Eminem. Like, so it kind of got out from their small little community because people in the community would leak it out, and then it got really popular. So this
be different if it was like indie bands, but it's Eminem.
I know,
like,
but
guys.
It's Eminem. So this group, Rabid Neurosis, was known to have greatly contributed to this scene, and they were including their initials in file names and ID3 tags, but then they had to stop because they kept getting mentioned in the news articles because because they were leaking Eminem. So then they also leaked Eminem's Encore, which was also like, that was after Eminem's show, but people were like, what is going on?
Sorry, it's just so funny, the idea of Eminem being the reason why their secret society's on blast. It's just so funny to me. Go on.
And then they're not a group anymore. Well, I mean, according to Wikipedia, none of my business. But the official group, their last release was Fall Out Boy's Infinity on High in 2007.
Oh, no way. Great album.
And I was like, oh, Fall Out Boy. Anyways, back to the Eminem show specifically. Interscope Records had to move the release date up to accommodate the demand because people were like so hyped for the leak, so they were getting into the leak. And even though the album leaked and people could get it for free and many people were just streaming it, there was so much demand to own it still. To this day, the album has sold more than 10 million copies in the US alone. Like,
Jesus.
The Eminem show is huge, obvious. I mean, like, if you were around at the time, Eminem show, very, very huge album. Oh my God. And then this is a really fun fact that you're going to love.
Oh, okay.
So Madonna, the icon that she is, before her album American Life, she leaked her own fake MP3. Oh. So when you downloaded it, instead of hearing the song, you heard Madonna saying, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?"
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's amazing. Oh my God. I love her.
How iconic.
I am so obsessed with her. Oh my God.
These artists at the time, they were very aware of what was going on, and they were very different levels of like concern. And
I find that very interesting though, that they would like play into it, and then it's kind of becomes a marketing ploy anyway.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, and then I have my next point is that artists have all different opinions and thoughts about leaked music. So two other really famous examples were in the early 2000s, Kanye West, The College Dropout, and Fiona Apple's Extraordinary Machine. So they both leaked, and then the artists actually changed and reworked songs. They scrapped things entirely. So now that there's kind of like multiple versions of the album. There was the one that was leaked, and then because it got leaked, they changed stuff in the album, and some fans and critics preferred the leaked version. So there's like
this is
reviews of the College Dropout pre-leak and after like the official release, which is, I don't know, I just found that really interesting.
That's got to be a downside, absolutely. You know, they're completely changed. Like, their art was made, and then they're completely changing it because it got leaked. And like you said before, it doesn't entirely mean that it's not going to sell. So why are they doing it?
So why are they doing it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So by 2005, having an album leak was just kind of part of the process. Everything was getting leaked. Like, the hackers could just get it, it seems, very easily. So everything was available before it was out. Artists and record labels were getting more upset about it in the beginning. So Jack White bitched out a college radio station DJ for playing a copy of Icky Thump, and he said that they were messing up the entire music business by leaking his record, but it was already leaked. That's how the radio station got it.
Yeah. But I don't know, Jack.
I don't know about that one, Jack. And then radio stations at the time played the leaked music because, quote, "Our listeners want to hear new music as soon as it's available. We're just reacting to the way it's becoming available."
Exactly. And they're kids. And like kids are the ones that are going to keep the music industry alive. Don't bitch them out on a radio station. Like college students are the ones that are going to come to your concerts, bro.
Yeah. And I think it's just kind of difficult if people are phoning into the radio stations, because that was more of a thing back then. And they're like, oh, I want to hear the new whoever. And then they're like, oh, well, technically it's not out yet, so we can't play it. But then they have the ability to get it. So it's like, are you going to give the people what they want? I don't know.
Gonna let that sink in.
Yeah. And then so by 2010, artists kind of got more chill about it. They kind of seemed to not really, they showed maybe that they didn't care. I'm not going to presume to know what they were going on in their personal lives, but they kind of gave off a more chill approach. So Drake
realized they couldn't fight it, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So Drake's Thank Me Later and Take Care, they both leaked, and he just kind of tweeted about it. All he said for Thank Me Later was, I gave away free music for years, so we're good over here. Just allow it to be the soundtrack of your summer and enjoy. And when Take Care got leaked, he said, listen, enjoy it, buy it if you like it, and take care until next time. So just kind of like,
interesting.
All right. And then Beyonce issued a similar statement when 4 leaked. She said, my music was leaked, and while this is not how I wanted to present my new songs, I appreciate the positive response from fans.
Hell yeah, one of her best albums.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time, Jay-Z and Kanye took, I just found this really interesting, they took extreme measures to make sure that their collab album didn't leak. So all recording sessions took place in private hotel rooms, all outside producers that had to submit beats in person. The masters weren't sent to iTunes or CD manufacturing plants until days before the release.
Whoa.
Engineers traveled with the music on hard drives that could only be accessed by biometric fingerprint readers.
So fucking awesome.
And then
are you kidding me?
Right? And they said at the time, like Jay-Z and Kanye said, that they wanted to recreate this nostalgic feeling of everyone listening to the new music at the same time. Because at this point, leaks were so prevalent that people weren't having that moment where like, okay, the album's out, we're all listening to it at the same time.
Exactly.
Like that was the kind of like the state of the world. And I just was like, and obviously that album must have been so like hyped because it's Jay-Z and Kanye West coming out with an album together. Like
Watch the Throne, right? That was 2013.
Yeah.
Watch the Throne, or 2011.
Yeah.
It was early 10s. I remember that.
It was early 10s. Yeah.
And that was a huge album. I just didn't realize that it was like, I mean, it makes sense that it was on lock, but wow.
They were taking it seriously.
Then
I found an article that was looking at whether or not leaks negatively affected album sales or performance of an album. So the article looked at Dua Lipa's leak of Future Nostalgia, and she had to change the release date because of the leak, but the album itself performed phenomenally, obviously.
Yeah.
And then compare that to Radical Optimism, which didn't leak and also didn't do great. But then it's kind of like, well, is it one or the other? Does it actually,
Well,
so another example they
Radical
used
Optimism. Let's just sorry.
Yeah. Another example that they used was Beyonce. So she released Lemonade with no announcement, no singles, no promotion. So it kind of bypassed any potential for a leak because people didn't know it was coming out. And then Cowboy Carter comes out and the tracks were illegally distributed shortly before the record dropped. Yeah. And then Cowboy Carter outperformed Lemonade with more significant chart placements, more awards. So
I actually had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And the conclusion of the article was that there's no clear answer. Because, it's a combination of marketing, publicity, public perception, and a ton of other things that affect album sales. So there's no way for these record labels to be, upset about the leaks because there's so much other stuff going on that affects whether an album does well or not. Oh, yeah. Then it said that on the cases that they looked at, the albums that were leaked did do better performance-wise than the non-leaked ones. And they had a quote. So economist Robert Hammond had proposed that in some cases, premature album leaks can lead to increased sales, suggesting that leaks do not necessarily create strong negative feelings among consumers. In general, industry professionals believe that consumers will listen to, purchase, and interact with an album regardless of whether it has an unplanned release. And I feel like that's why we don't hear about leaks that much or care anymore.
Yeah. I only hear about it from the artists when they post on Instagram and they're like, my album got leaked, like, still buy it. And I'm like, I didn't even know. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, like, everything is being leaked. So it kind of, like, lost the novelty. I feel like in the early 2000s, it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And now it's kind of like, okay, whatever.
The album's going to come out anyways.
Exactly. People are going to consume the album once it's available anyways. So other albums, like huge ones that have leaked recently that like I wasn't even aware of because I feel like it doesn't matter anymore. Harry's House by Harry Styles, Renaissance by Beyonce, The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift. Like these huge albums. And it's like, who cares?
I know.
It's like
I know.
Not this controversial thing anymore.
That's going to damage its record sales. Like, didn't really make an impact at all on those ones in particular.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw this post from The Guardian, which made a good point, I thought. So they said, the good news for artists is that a world where people are downloading less and streaming more generates less of a demand for leaks among fans. And then Tim Ingram of Music Business Worldwide said leaks have definitely slowed down as a music industry issue in the streaming-led age. But they still do harm artists in quite significant ways. Millions of dollars are still spent by record labels honing the music and image of new stars. A hack or a leak of music recorded while an act is still developing can play havoc with a carefully planned record company roadmap.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. But I feel like at the end of the day, that's still more about profit for the record companies than it is for anything for the artists. Like, I really don't think it changes anything for the artist.
I agree. Yeah. And then another interesting thing I found out that was with Discord. So people create servers to discuss these leaks of whichever artist that they're into. And then the moderators of these servers get into contact with the leakers and they conduct a group buy. So these are events in which songs or albums are being sold to the public instead of like a single buyer. And then they're, all pitching in to buy whichever they want. So the most expensive group buy was for Juice WRLD's Live or Die, which was sold for $30,000, which had his last songs before he died. I know. Like when I was looking this up, it seems to be a very big thing in the rap community and like the rap world.
Yeah.
The hacking
it's a little concerning. It feels like another thing that's like a level of impatience and let's just wait for it to come out. Like, it's gonna come out. Like,
exactly. So that's kind of like the history of briefly leaks and like famous leaks that have happened. The next kind of like thing I was looking at, I'm like, is this ethical? Should I feel bad? So a lot of artists don't really speak up about it because it draws attention to the leak. But I have a couple of examples and like some quotes that I just found interesting from different people. So Madonna, after her album Rebel Heart leaked, she said that she felt raped. That's how she described it. J. Paul said, no one else seemed to view the situation in the same way I did, a catastrophe. The hardest thing to grasp was that I'd been denied the opportunity to finish my work and share it in its best possible form. Having my dream torn up in front of me hit me pretty hard.
That is so fair. Especially when you're like trying to create your artistry and like understand who you are and like as a marketable artist, for that to be taken out from underneath you, that's uncool.
Yeah. And then Marina from Marina and the Diamond said, the more leaks that happen, the slower I work. The thought of people invading my privacy and listening to half-assed, unfinished songs that I wrote at 3 a.m. on a tour bus does not make me feel too relaxed or creative.
Oh, so fair.
And then Charlie. So I have some quotes about XCX World. So she was asked about XCX World. She said, yeah, I mean, it was cool. I was working on an album, which I loved and still love. I didn't feel like it was my decision to not put it out. The decision was kind of out of my hands because someone hacked me. So it just kind of felt like my work had gotten taken from me and was no longer mine. And that was really sad. I didn't even get to process it much at the time, honestly, because it was just so shocking that it actually happened. But yeah, I love the songs that are on that album, and it's such a shame that I didn't get to complete it the way I wanted to. It's really hard for me to think about. But it was sad because I was going to release that music, and I had really specific thoughts and ideas of how I would want to do it. It's just the second it's taken from you, it doesn't feel like yours anymore. That was really sad because I'd put so much time into it and money and love and so had all the people who were working on it. Yeah, I had shot artwork and was about to shoot videos and then just kind of wasn't mine anymore. So RIP those days.
seriously, RIP those days. Like, it's that one gets me, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, that was a very interesting one because she was releasing singles for it. And so there was, the album rollout had already begun, and then it got leaked, and then it was never released. I've listened to it like, you know, through, what's that one? I've listened to it through Clown Cloud. Cool.
Cloud SoundCloud.
And she said that she was on Feeding Starving Celebrities with Quinn Blackwell, and she said that she's thinking about releasing it.
Yeah, because
so
at the
she
time,
should do it.
When they asked if she would ever do anything with those songs, she said, no, it's been ruined for me. Even though I think the music is still brilliant, it's just that time is really tainted because someone hacked me. So it's on them. It's their fault, not mine. But with time, like, people think she's kind of like teasing it a little bit, or maybe it'll happen. Like, who knows? But like, that, how many years has it been? Like,
I know.
The wound was probably very intense.
If it does happen, I think we can thank Overcompensating's Benny Drama, because he put songs from that album in the soundtrack for the show. So it's very, very possible. Yeah. And then there's a song that's going viral on TikTok right now. I think it's called Good Girls. And there's a very high possibility she might release it, but she's gone AWOL right now, so we don't know what she's thinking.
We don't know what she's doing.
She's hiding under a rock currently.
Yeah. So those were just like some artist quotes that I had, because I feel like in the first half I was talking more about like what the record labels were thinking. Some other things I saw, like there's this documentary on Paramount that I didn't get the time to watch, where Eminem kind of talks about like the trauma of having your stuff leaked and you kind of having no control of it. So I think for the artist, like, it's a huge deal. Like, it feels very invasive. It's like kind of violating, like, completely wrecks your, I don't know, ideas of like creativity and like how you want to like navigate things. Like, just a lot.
And then like the trust is broken, and now all of a sudden you don't trust anyone that you work with, and you start like being paranoid of any producer that's in the room with you. Like, are they going to take my demos? Like, it has severe emotional, psychological ramifications for the artists.
Yeah. And then I found on the other side, so Vice did an interview with this notorious figure in the leaking community, Propskers 22.
Whatever.
So this interview is from 2020. Sorry if I mispronounce your name, dude. This interview
Whatever. You're the one leaking music, bro.
I know. And but by the things that I'm about to say, or that he said, or they said, I don't know. It doesn't matter. So the interview is in 2020, and at the time, this kid was 17, and he's already a notorious figure in the leaking community. So Vice asked, is this ethical? These artists are making music to get paid, and you're effectively preventing them from getting paid, which I think is an odd question, but okay, Vice. He said, yeah, but I mean, it's just music. We're all going to die one day. We might as well have beautiful music. Some of these fans are crazy and go on if they know the artist personally. I don't know these rappers personally, so I don't really feel for them. Put it this way, I won't be losing sleep over leaking an artist's music. And at the end of the day, realistically, what does a music leak do to damage an artist's career? They lose a few streams. Reworking entire albums due to leaks barely happens, and a lot of the time they'll still include leaks on upcoming albums. And then Vice asked, what about someone like Playboy Carti, who's had entire albums leaked? And then the guy said, for someone like Playboy Carti, I can understand it's a bit different because his leaks get millions and millions of views, but usually your average leak doesn't get that much attention.
It's a weird thing to say. But okay.
Vice also asked what motivates him to do this, and he said, music has a really big place in my heart. It's one of the greatest things ever made. And it feels good having people know you have unreleased music. Like, it feels good waking up to 20 DMs begging you for a song or playing unreleased music on Instagram Live. It's really fun when you're playing music people have never heard before. And the whole chat is just fire emoji. The buzz you get... Sorry.
I can't even.
The buzz you get from logging into an email and just seeing hundreds of songs is amazing. I've done a lot of stuff before music leaks, and music leaks probably give me the biggest buzz of all of them.
Oh my God.
So it's interesting that the hackers don't really seem to care about the artists personally, and they just want to hear the music. And I feel like it's a really disassociated and entitled viewpoint, honestly.
No, it totally is. They want to be part of it. They want to feel powerful. Yeah, they want to see, like, they want to be involved in the process, even though, like, they're literally just stupid kids online.
And I think it's easy for them to see, like, not see the artists as people. And I think it's easy for us to not see artists as people when they get to a certain level of fame. And then these hackers don't have, like, a comprehensive understanding of the music industry and how much or how little these artists make or how much some of these artists put into their work. And then they just steal it. Like, that rubbed me the wrong way.
That rubs me the wrong way, too. I mean, they just want to listen to the album. I don't even know how to describe it, but like, you get it. Like, music is not just to be consumed. It's not just a product. Like, it's actual artistic expression. And I mean, the whole release schedule and everything, yes, that's set up by the record labels, but it then allows the artist to process their art and prepare for its release. Like, to have some sense of control when once they usually submit their mastered album over to the record label, they seize all control. So, like, by then stealing it, like, come on, it's already not theirs anymore. So it's a double whammy of, I don't know, exploitation.
Yeah, and then it's like people then are getting so upset by artists charging so much for concert tickets and merch, but then it's like they're not getting any money from Spotify streams, and then the little money that they're getting, you're then leaking that product, so then they're getting even less, and then they have to charge so much for these concert tickets to, like, they're people, they gotta make money.
It's the margins, man.
Like, yeah, so I just thought that was wild. And then so why has this been on my mind? Why did I even start researching this?
Yeah, so Jessica, why?
The reason was My Chemical Romance's album that never came out, MCR5, The Paper Kingdom, got leaked.
Of course.
So bringing on back to my thing, which is My Chemical Romance.
I support
the history behind this album was that it was going to be a follow-up album to Danger Days, and then it basically just caused the band to break up. They didn't want to release it. The guys, generally, when they've been asked about it, seem dissatisfied with the way the album was being made or their process, the direction that they were going in. They didn't like it. The band broke up.
Yeah.
However, a hacker ended up getting the demos for the album and sold it to a private collector for $20,000, and then that was made public.
Wow. Okay.
So then on, like, Reddit and stuff, I've seen fans saying that they have a right to listen to the album. They don't feel bad for listening to the album because of a number of reasons. The main one I saw was they're upset how much money the guys are charging for the concert tickets and merch. And so they feel like if they're going to charge that much for a concert ticket, I have the right to listen to these demos.
They got a point.
And then some other fans were saying, like, it's been so long since we've had new music from them. I should be able to just listen to it. Like, we're not going to get another My Chemical Romance album.
Probably. Yes.
So what's wrong with me listening to it? Who knows?
Yeah.
And then so I listened to it. Like, I don't necessarily feel bad for listening to it. I was curious, but I'm not going to listen to it all the time. I mean, I thought it was great. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think the guys were kind of all going through their own stuff at the time. And I can understand, like, how it is very dark in comparison to Danger Days. And then to be told that people don't like it or it didn't do well, that they kind of feel like they had to double down on being dark. But, like, it's still them, so then it's still good. You know what I mean? But I understand
know exactly what you mean.
Why they didn't want it to release. And that's, like, the part that makes me feel weird about listening to it, is, like, it's the thing that, like, made them break up. And especially for them, like, they're so into, like, the aesthetic of the album, the look of the album. And if they didn't feel like it was good enough, like, I want to, like, respect their artistry, I guess. And I want to respect, like, an artist's artistic vision, and if they didn't want something out, I kind of feel like I want to respect that. I don't know. The whole thing just feels intrusive to me. I mean, like, I still listen to it, and like, I don't feel bad for like listening to it a couple times, but like, I don't know. Everything about it just feels intrusive, I guess.
I don't think it's black and white. I really don't. I think
it's not.
You are a diehard fan. You understand them on a deep intellectual level, and you are listening. You're welcome. You would be listening to this album with a perspective, you'd like with all of that context and that understanding and that empathy. So it's not like you're just wanting to just consume the art and just to listen to it and have it be yours because they didn't give it to me. It's like, no, when you're listening to it and you're putting it on, you're appreciating it as the art that it was intended to be. And I'm thinking this is just to have like a comparative example to music. I'm thinking about like, prolific authors, poets, writers, when they die and sometimes their letters get published and maybe those were never intended for the public to read.
Yeah.
And you can have your feelings on that. I'm thinking about Sylvia Plath and her letters that were eventually put into a book.
I think Joan Didion.
Joan Didion.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's like a bunch of them. And so, I mean, you can have your feelings on it, but if you are already a big appreciator and like lover of their work, I think it's okay to still consume it.
Yeah.
It's weird for sure, especially when they make their feelings known.
Yeah.
But I still would listen to XEX World if I ever felt the need to. I would just go and pull up that SoundCloud link. So But yeah, it is weird.
It's complicated. At the end of the day, at the end of this, I was like, it's complicated.
Yep.
Is it ethical? It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. It's complicated.
Oh my God.
That's the summary. I thought I would do some research, like come away with something, and I was kind of just like, I don't know.
What do you think about track lists getting leaked? Not the songs, but like the album covers or the track lists.
I don't know. I feel like that's less, because I remember that always happens with Taylor Swift. Like her track list gets leaked, or like I think it happens a lot with the vinyls at the plants or whatever, and people taking photos of like at the inside, but then also you're seeing the lyrics. I don't know. I feel like that's less because it's only like a small portion of the whole thing.
I feel like it just garners more excitement for it, personally.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it's also like, I remember when The Life of a Showgirl was coming out, and when the photos were coming out of the photos of the vinyls, and people were being like, is this for real? Like, so it kind of like, added to the excitement of like, is this actually it? Is this fake? Just creating more buzz, I guess.
The reason I'm laughing is because I'm thinking about when The Life of a Showgirl track list was leaked, and we were like, surely that's not it. And then it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Surely, I was like, surely this is fake. When I was seeing the lyrics on that little vinyl picture.
Surely there's no song called Wood, right?
Surely Actually Romantic isn't what it is, right?
Like, what a time. What the hell?
Yeah.
That was really interesting, Jess.
Thank you.
I find that fascinating. I never even thought too deeply about it before, and I know a lot of my favorite artists have their opinions on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me think about it a little bit deeper.
I think it seemed like a lot of time when it first happens, it's really intrusive or terrible for the artist. It seems like they're really upset about it, but I think with time they all kind of seem to mellow out. MCR hasn't said anything about Paper Kingdom, and I really doubt that they would say anything. But I think it's been so long now that they're probably like, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
Move on to the next thing. It's kind of whatever. But I could understand, at the time, you're anticipating all this stuff, and you're working on all these things, and you're trying to get everything ready, and then it's like, oh, everyone's hearing it. Oops.
Okay, before I talk about my boyfriend of the month, I am going to talk about I'm going to talk about my trip to Puerto Escondido, Mexico, that I went with my mom a few weeks ago. We went the end of February, and we stayed in this place called La Punta. And it's at the very, very end, like the southern tip of the Zicatela area in Puerto. And it's like this laid-back, beachy neighborhood. And it's known for its surf culture primarily. And then it's got like this boho vibe.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed at this place called Casa Umi, and it was like the tiniest, cutest, like boutique hotel that I would highly recommend to anyone that's considering staying there. It was kind of like our sanctuary, honestly, for the entire time that we were there. And I don't know if we would have survived without it. And I'll get into why. First, I'll start with the highlights of the trip, though. So we were there for basically a full week. I'll preface this by saying, like, I'm not really a beach vacation person. So this was a huge leap out of my comfort zone pretty much instantly. And like, it was quite something to like leave BC, and it was like cold weather, and then immediately touch down there, and it was like being blasted with humid hot air. Like, it was really quite a shock to the system.
It's like when those plane doors open and you're like, whoa.
Whoa. Hair immediately just turns into a poof.
Yeah.
But I think honestly I needed it. It was, I think, really smart of us to go like at the end of February when like it gets so, in BC in particular, but Canada in general, gets so dark and cold and miserable here. If you're a Canadian listener, you understand. So that was definitely the intention. Like, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here and let's go somewhere warm just to see if we can shake off this depression, basically. Okay. And the things that did help with shaking that, the beach sunsets in La Punta.
Oh, beautiful.
So they have this tradition there where everyone goes down to the beach at sunset, and like you bring your food, your drink, you can drink on the beach, everything. And there's like, people bring like their boom boxes. Oh, fucking hell. I'm aging myself constantly.
You're so old.
I'm so old. They're bringing their speakers, their Bluetooth speakers. That's what I meant. Down to the beach. And then we all watch the sunset together. And then when the sun dips underneath the horizon, there was like a bunch of people that clapped. And it was just precious.
That's lovely.
Humans are so cute sometimes. Other things, the cats, not enough of them, but there'd be like, just random street cats, or like, their version of a bodega cat would be like a cafe cat. And we would just be like petting them, and they were all so like chill and friendly, and that was really lovely. Live music everywhere. Like it was just like you walk around the street, there is nightlife that's going like into like the late hours.
Very lively.
And there was very, very lively, like just a very musical place. We drank a lot of mezcalitas, which I know we need to get into these. I guess in Mexico, they don't, unless you're like specifically going to places that have tequila. I literally don't know, honestly. But anyways, like I don't ever claim to really understand. I just kind of go with the flow, guys. But like when I was there, it was mainly mezcal. Okay? Like, you could order a margarita, but it was like at the bottom of the list.
Interesting.
So you would order a mezcalita, and I think I prefer. The way I would describe it, it's definitely a smoother flavor, a little smokier, and depending on where you're getting it from and how they prepare it, usually a little less sweet. So I enjoyed, personally. You looking them up?
We're just looking up what the difference between mezcal and tequila is.
Yeah, what does it say?
It says the term mezcal refers to spirits made from the agave plant, while tequila refers to a specific type of mezcal that can only be made from blue Weber agave in 5 Mexican states.
Okay.
So if you liked they're different variety of mezcal, and tequila is one of them. So then if you're saying you're the one you liked was like a smokier one, and there's probably like a specific variety of agave that one is maybe coming from.
That makes sense. And then tequila is like way more specific of a type of mezcal, basically.
Yeah,
and so it's all going to taste the same.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fascinating. So that's why it tasted different at different places. It was kind of dependent on which mezcal they were using.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica, for your
so
knowledge
welcome.
and your ability to Google.
Because I was just
love
like,
those.
I'm curious.
No, for real. So now whenever we go to a Mexican restaurant, I will be asking for a mezcalita just to see what they say.
Yeah, for sure.
Then I just really hope they don't ask me too many questions. No follow-up questions.
No follow-up. Just give to me, please.
Please just give me my drink.
And I'll be like, Corona. Thank you.
Exactly. Everything was fresh, local seafood and fruit. So not a lot of imported things, which was really cool. So it was like awesome to like be tasting our environment. So beautiful there, like all like so colorful. There were murals everywhere, street art, like everything was very like tastefully designed in that boho way. Very aesthetically pleasing and Instagrammable, if you know what I'm saying. Another thing, I loved seeing all of the cool Mexican birds.
Ooh!
I haven't talked about this with you yet, but so I needed to do some research to understand which birds I was even seeing. So, so the Mexican bird or the state bird or whatever is the golden eagle. And they were like everywhere. They were constantly flying over us. We saw them. We would be just like laying in the pool and they'd be flying over us. They're everywhere, constantly just like soaring about, looking for food. So that was really neat.
And I just love like, because we're all on the same continent. So it's just like we see eagles here all the time. And obviously like in America, they obviously it's their bird is an eagle, a bald eagle. Literally. So it's just cool that their bird is also an eagle. Like
I know, hey?
Because it's like it feels kind of like at home because you're seeing eagles all the time, but then it's a different kind of eagle.
And they kind of look more like a hawk, and they're definitely, I would say, a little bit smaller than a bald eagle, but it's, I just found it really fascinating that they were just like always around. And then there were pelicans that we would see whenever we were at the beaches, and they would just be like, oh my God, they were so cool. It was giving Jurassic Park. They would just be like, flying on through, coasting, and then they would dive bomb into the water when they saw the fish. And so we were just watching that over and over and over again like all day long. It was so cool. We saw hummingbirds, like some cool Mexican hummingbirds that definitely had different colors than the ones we have here. So that was really cool. Saw them kind of hanging around, but more like in the morning when it was cooler because it gets so hot there.
Yeah.
And then I would say the birds that I found the most interesting, it was on our last day we only saw them. They're called laughing gulls. And they're basically like their version, I would assume, of a seagull that we would have here. They would hang out on the waves in the ocean, and then they would dive underneath the waves as they were curling. So they kind of had a system for catching fish and everything. It was really, really fascinating. Like nothing I don't see that here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We also don't get like pipe like they do. So other animals, we went whale watching and we saw turtles, sea turtles, orcas, and dolphins. They came up right next to our boat, the dolphins, and we're like, jumping in. It was so thrilling. Never done that before. Probably won't do again because I got massively seasick. Don't recommend standing up on a small boat if you're feeling a little woozy already.
Not a great combo.
It's really not. And I took Gravol. It just wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
Okay. Some of the meals, honestly, I was a little disappointed with the food as it was so hit or miss where we went. But the ones that did stand out, we went for brunch at Santo. We had these delicious waffles. And we went for sushi at a place called Somo. But the thing that was nice about it, I know you're probably going to laugh because, like, why do you go to Mexico for sushi? But it was fresh caught fish.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing.
Oh, my God. Like, so good.
Because, like, we're by the ocean here, but, like, I don't know. I doubt the quality of a lot of the sushi that you can get here, so...
Exactly, because they have the option to get it delivered, whereas there they don't. They have to entirely rely on their own resources. The breakfasts were incredible. We went for breakfast at Jaguar Negro. We went for breakfast there, and that was delicious. There's this place called Cafe Sukuun where we got smoothie bowls and fresh juices. That was delicious.
Nice.
And then we went for our last meal at Enna restaurant, and it was like definitely the bougiest meal out of everything. It was a space that was very mellow, and we were getting very nice service, and it just felt like a nice calm.
Yeah. Like a nice bookend to the excursion.
They made us like fresh carbonara pasta and hummus, and it was delicious. Okay. Sadly, though, a devastating overnight electrical fire happened on March 5th, like less than a week after we returned home.
Yeah.
And it burned an entire stretch of businesses in La Punta, including a bunch that we went to. Only one section, though. The news was reporting that all of La Punta is gone. That's not true. It's just one whole section. And I just really hope they have good insurance, because it'd be devastating if, like, you know, some of those businesses were gone forever. But it was definitely a weird feeling to come home to and then see that news and just be like, whoa, we were just there. Like, you feel like a sense of gratitude for having experienced them, but also like a weird feeling in your stomach of like, whoa.
Yeah.
What do I do?
It's just kind of spooky feeling.
But to go back to the positives, I will say, even though I did get really sick on the boat tour, the luck of it was we shared it with 5 women from El Paso, Texas, that happened to all be doctors. So
love them.
They were incredible. They took care of me and my mom too, but like mainly these women.
What's the Texas thing? Is it like Let's Go Longhorns or something?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think that's a thing. If it isn't, sorry, Texas.
Well, they didn't say anything like that. They just handed me an alcohol wipe and were like, honey, you need to sniff this.
I'm so happy for them.
I know. So learned that, and then they told me to just focus on the horizon for like stable ground, and then that helped. Thankfully, it happened pretty much like right after we saw the orcas and the dolphins and everything. So it was like, okay, but then I still had an hour to go on that boat. I wanted to die. I think I'm gonna die on this boat.
Yeah, literally.
Other things about the trip, there was street dogs everywhere, which has its pros and its cons, depending on how you feel about dogs. But there was this really funny moment where 2 of the dogs, they like escorted us back to our hotel at night. And then when cars would drive by, they would like bark at them, like, how dare you get in my way?
Oh
so
my
these
God.
2 dogs, they like literally, they just trailed behind me and just silently walked us. And like, if it was a man, I would be scared, but it was a dog.
But it was a dog.
It was a dog. And then we got to the hotel, and then they just kind of like, they didn't come in. They just watched us enter. And then we're like, okay, glad you made it home safe, and then walked away.
That's so interesting.
I know, I've never experienced little guardian dogs. The way that they barked at this small car, like they were going to kill that car.
That's so interesting.
It was insane. It was insane. Yeah. By the end of the trip, I was fully dogged out. I was like, I'm going to need more cats around. Just the barking, and they're just everywhere. And it was just like, I'm not really a dog person. I don't hate dogs, but like, it was a lot.
It can add to like an overstimulating environment, like a dog.
That's
like
all
lots
I'm
of dogs just barking. It kind of like can kind of stress you out a little bit. So
exactly.
I understand.
As someone who gets overstimulated often, it was a lot for me personally. So just know that. Like, if you're gonna go to Mexico, period, just be aware. Other things, I learned the Midnight Sun and Lush Life dances on my downtime. So I was practicing those all week, and I am ready to go. If the music's playing and I'm out, girl, I'm ready.
You ready to go? Maybe they'll play it at emo night.
Hi, excuse me. I have this really emo song. Have you heard of it? By Zara Larsson. They kicked me out, banned me from the premises.
They're like, get out of here. Who is this?
You know, I'm a nuanced girl, okay? I like a lot of different music. So I just wanted to kind of like end with saying I really did enjoy the trip for the most part. I had a lot of, situations that, caused me to feel a certain way. I did get sick and we had a lot of travel woes. Like WestJet completely screwed us over and canceled our flights. But those are things that are entirely out of your control. So I'm going to give some tips for things that can be in your control. If you have IBS or other gastro issues, I think it's best to just entirely stick to bottled and canned drinks the entire time you're there. And I know that's probably going to be devastating because you're like, what do you mean? So I can't have a cocktail? Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
No ice.
No ice. I just don't think you should chance it. I can't prove it, but I do think it caused some issues for me that really backfired near the end. Emphasis on backfire. Okay.
She's being vulnerable on the pod.
Being vulnerable on the pod. I'm not going to say what happened. You can deduce. Use your brains. Ask taxi drivers the cost of the trip before you get into that car. There was a few situations we had where we had already gotten in the car and then we had asked them and it was like way more than it should have been. So it's totally okay to be like, no, thank you. Get another cab. They might give you a different rate because there is no flat rate there. They're going to charge what they're going to charge. You just got to be really careful.
Totally.
If you're sensitive to heat like me, please make sure the place that you're staying has good AC and utilize those mornings. You got to get up early. You got to get out there. It's the coolest part of the day. It would get scorching by 11 a.m. and then it was impossible to be outside.
Yeah, take a nap in the afternoon. Get up early. Do your thing. Take a nap. Take a siesta, as they say.
Take a siesta. Okay. Yeah, we didn't take enough siestas. But it was difficult because we were so tired when we got there that for the first few days we ended up sleeping in. And so, and then we started not feeling well. So in retrospect, I would have just set that alarm a little bit earlier and just pushed myself to get up.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, like there was no AC anywhere other than the hotel. And that was a huge thing. Like, okay, and then the last thing, I would just say really research those beaches in Puerto Escondido because if you want to swim or surf, there are waters that are safer than others. And you just need to know your swimming and surfing abilities.
Interesting.
So if you're more of an advanced surfer, then go to Zicatela Beach. The surfing is insane. They have these crazy barrel waves that you would see in like surfing competitions. It's known as the Mexipipe. So if you're interested in going to watch those surfers, that's where I would go, that whole area. It's like this huge stretch of beach and the waves are crazy and it's really fun to watch them. They're just surfing all damn day. So cool. If that's not your thing, then I would go to Manzanillo or Carrizalillo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing those somewhat correctly. They're these lovely little coves of beaches. They're protected. The waves are a lot smaller, a lot more calm. You can get in those waters and swim and you don't feel like you're going to like completely get, taken down by just one wave. It was a little insane. And then there's some other beaches as well, Playa Coral and Playa Bacocho. For just like swimming, beginner surfing, you can do your lessons there. Highly recommend going to check those out. So like northern area, super safe for beginners. Southern area, less safe for beginners, to kind of summarize. Yeah. It was really cool to watch those surfers though. They would be surfing like after sunset. It was so fascinating. Okay, so my overall...
Have you seen Lords of Dogtown?
No, I need to.
Okay.
That's a skating one, right?
Yeah, but because it kind of talks about, it's like how skateboarding got started, kind of. So then it kind of talks about like the surfing to skateboarding pipeline, I guess. That's interesting.
I assume you've seen Blue Crush?
No,
really?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Okay.
I never claimed to be anything other than a skateboard girl.
That's true.
So I don't know anything about surfing unless it relates to skateboarding.
Yeah. I mean, one has wheels, one has water. So, you know, there's a difference for sure.
For sure.
Very similar concepts. Okay. So what I would say with my trip, overall, it was not as relaxing as I hoped it would be going in. But overall, I think it was great to get out of my comfort zone, shook up my nervous system a little bit. I was really kind of stuck in a rut there and a feeling of not necessarily routine, but just bad habits and everything. And it really shook me out of that, forced me to. And you know, when I like think back on it now, like I definitely realize like I do love traveling. I really enjoy being immersed in an entirely different language and culture than my own and exploring, and I love it. But I do need to understand that my standards are quite high for my comfort level. I could never be a backpacker or like I really don't see myself at this age now being able to like stay in a hostel. Like you know what I mean? Maybe if I was 20, I would go back in time and tell myself to do it.
Right.
But I know myself well enough. Like I do need some comforts. Otherwise I start going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one man that kept me sane on this trip was not a single Mexican man in La Punta, not a physical being that I could actually talk to and get to know in person. It was a man on my phone. As usual. It was a man on my phone, and his name is Rob Rausch. And there's really at this point a really good 50-50 chance you've heard of him, I think at this point. But there's all, you know. But if you don't know him, I'll just give you a little explanation. So who the fuck is Rob Rausch, you're probably asking. I got you. So he is a 27-year-old snake wrangler from Florence, Alabama. Okay. He's just like a super hot dude who posts himself catching snakes on Instagram and TikTok, where he's gained over 2 million followers. Like that's like at the end of the day, that's just who he is. I mean, he's so much more than that. But like on the surface,
we're all
that's
multifaceted, dimensional human beings, but
we're not all snake wranglers though. Okay. So a little history. So he's known for being on Love Island USA, season 6, maybe? Girl, I don't know. If you don't know what Love Island is, it's a dating reality show where a bunch of hot people hang out in swimsuits and they have to couple up to survive. And then the fans vote for their favorite couples / islanders, which are what they call the contestants. And then the final winning couple gets $100,000. He was first on season 5. It came on as a Casa Amor contestant, but then he was dumped too early, honestly. So they brought him back for season 6 in 2024. And that's where he coupled up with a contestant named Leah Kateb. They had a messy relationship on the show. It kind of became like the central plot of that season, basically, and really helped grow his following. He basically makes a decision to couple up with someone else once he sees that the relationship isn't progressing. And then it's mainly because they don't have anything in common other than physical attraction to each other. But this caused like a lot of drama, and then led to a lot of drama. Jess just watched it, so she knows what I'm talking about. A lot of drama. And then it made him be like cast as the villain, basically. Like they all were like, the media, the fans were all like, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
It was a weird time, Jess.
I can't even imagine, because I just watched it in our year 2026. I can't imagine. Well, I mean, I was on the sidelines of you watching it, but crazy.
But you were only hearing one side, so which was #Team Rob. So
yeah.
So he went away on our like TV screens for a year. If you were still following on Instagram, he was very there. But he did like a bunch of traveling and stuff in between, kept catching those snakes. But he came back to reality TV recently by joining the Traders. And this is where I'm going to tell any listeners that if you're worried about spoilers, just turn the podcast off, because I'm just not going to avoid them. That's stressful for me. And I don't want to do that. I'd prefer not to. So turn it off, watch it, come back, do whatever you got to do. Okay, so The Traders is a reality competition show, basically where a bunch of C and D list celebrities, they all congregate to a Scottish castle in the Highlands, and then they try to win a cash prize. And then the total winnings are earned through challenges. The catch is there are traders in the castle where the one and only Alan Cumming, he picks personally, and then at the end, whichever traders remain will claim the entire cash prize. So the goal is to basically, as a faithful, sniff them out and try to eliminate them before they murder you.
It's like that Among Us game. It's like there's a bunch of similar games that are very similar. Yeah.
I assume it's like Mafia.
Like Mafia. Yeah, that was what I was trying to think of. Yeah. Mafia.
Yeah. I would love to play Mafia. I really want to see if I'm good at it. And he won. So the total winnings, and he won. The total winnings were 220,000. No, I don't know. I never know how to say these.
220,000. 220,000. 220,000.
Okay. The total winnings were $220,000. It's because there's an 800 in there. How do you say the 800 part?
$220,800.
You don't say dollars first. Okay, that's what it is.
220,800.
I don't have that type of money, so I don't know how to say it.
Like, I've never seen that much money, so how would I know?
How would I know? Okay, the total winnings were $220,800. Yeah. I need to do this for my own sanity. Wait, hold on. What's going on?
$220,800.
I can't even breathe. Okay. The total winnings were $220,800. Thank you. Jesus Christ, my brain. Okay. So after he successfully passes as a faithful to the very, very end, and then he eliminates all his fellow traitors, he reveals himself as a traitor to his biggest ally in the game, who is fellow Love Islander Maura Higgins. She was a faithful and fully believed that she was going to win with him. He pinky promised.
Pinky promised.
He pinky promised. And she thought, like, he was like, we're going to win this together. Like, he fully, like, she bought into it and everything. Mm-hmm. He did what he had to do, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so she was rightfully pissed at him when he revealed that he was a traitor. Yeah. Said that you're never going to get a girlfriend after this, and you're a really good liar. Like, she was livid as she walked away.
Yeah.
But then she said on the reunion that if he buys her a Birkin, then all is forgiven. Mm-hmm. And he did.
And he did.
And he did.
A beautiful red Birkin.
It is so gorgeous. Like, her taste. Like, and she told him, this is the one I want.
Yeah.
So I have the actual one that it was. So Lisa Rinna helped hook him up with the supplier, basically. And apparently, like, it's really difficult to get on that list. And you'll be on that list for years. So, like, Rinna's got major superpowers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just saying.
I saw this thing. I saw this stupid person commenting, like, they need the press from all of this to sell Birkins. I was like, honey, no.
Honey, no. Hermes is fine.
Hermes is fine. The supplier/store that Rob got it off is fine. They don't need marketing from a reality TV show.
Oh my God. I love 14-year-olds online. They're so stupid.
So funny.
Okay, so it was the Burgundy Hermes Togo Birkin 30 with gold hardware, and it would have probably cost him, I assume that he had to pay the full amount, $16,000.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous bag.
It's literally so gorgeous. I've never seen a bigger smile on a human being when she received it. She said all is forgiven. They're all good. They're friends. It's all fine. And at the end of the day, she feels like she's the bigger winner. Like, she got the bag, y'all.
She got the bag.
And then right now, honestly, since winning, he's just been seizing his moment of fleeting internet fame by doing just a ton of sponsorships and collaborations, including working with the Quinn app, which is an app for audio erotica series where he narrates something called The Snake Wrangler, I think it's called, because I definitely like haven't like listened to it at all multiple times.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
right? It's like none of anyone's business. It's fine. It wasn't $10 to subscribe. It's literally anyways, so you're probably thinking also, okay, you said all that, so why are you so obsessed with him? Okay, well, let me tell you. Let me give you my top 5 reasons I love Rob Rausch, okay? I'm going to count them down for you.
I'm ready.
So, you ready? Okay, so number 5, great sense of style, mostly. I love the overalls. I love the hoodies, the cowboy boots, the cowboy hats, the backward baseball caps.
Yes.
I currently don't love the formal wear.
No.
But that's okay. He's not a formal wear. He's a casual country bumpkin. Like, leave him alone.
He's not in his natural habitat right now.
No. However, I just saw him on Kelly Clarkson in a gorgeous knitted sweater.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 4, he's incredibly smart. After he caught his first snake at age 4, his mom told him he couldn't go out and catch more until he learned what each of them were beforehand, basically to avoid getting like bitten by a venomous snake by accident.
Literally, yeah.
And then his gameplay on the traders was incredible. He said that he basically had to get in the mindset of a faithful. So he told himself, I'm a faithful, and then acted like a faithful the entire time.
And I think, everyone else has been saying this. Alan said it, like the host of the show, probably one of the best players to have ever played traders. And it's a pretty new reality show, like compared to Big Brother or Survivor.
Yeah.
And, they in those shows have these like all-time greats, and like Rob's gonna be one for traders, like
100% Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame.
Like,
yeah. And we're not just saying that because he's hot and we love him. Like,
no,
incredible.
Like, that's just like cherry on top. Like, but like, you can be hot and not entertain me. He entertained me because he was so clever and interesting. Anyways, and also really hot, but like, leave me alone. I'm just a girl. Like, leave me alone. Like, what the hell? Number 3, he has great integrity and loyalty towards the people that he loves. Most importantly, his family, who he said he's incredibly close with. He's the 3rd oldest of 4 siblings, one of which has Down syndrome. And he said that he's actually the closest with her. Her name's Bella. And he said with the earnings, he really just wanted to put it towards his family. And I would assume like the care for his sister. And he wants to build his own family. And I just think that's really lovely. And like, Maura may have her feelings about being brought to the end to then be betrayed, but he stayed loyal to her to the very end. And that's what he was trying to say before she cut him off. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Because you're paid per episode. So he was doing her a huge solid by keeping her to the end, because then she got more money out of it, right? So
I didn't know that. Okay.
I don't know the amount, but you are paid because that would make sense. It's not a flat rate for every contestant. If you're voted out the first episode, you're not going to get paid for the rest of the season.
I didn't know they got paid at all.
Yeah, you do get paid to go on there. It is not just volunteer. That was a huge reason why Rob went on. So you get paid for going on, and then if you win, you get that additional money.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay.
Whereas like with Survivor, I don't think you get paid to go on. Like that's
why
right?
I was like, I had no idea. That's interesting. Okay.
And then number 2, he's easy on the eyes and the ears. Okay. He's got them blue eyes, them gorgeous tattoos, that southern drawl, that ripped bod. He's 5'11", not that it matters. He's just a hot guy.
He's just a hot guy.
He's just really hot. Like in a way where I can't even understand how it's possible.
And I in a previous episode remember myself saying that I was watching Traders because Rob's hot, but he's not hot enough for me to watch Love Island, and then I ended up watching Love Island. So it just really goes to show how hot this guy is.
That's powerful. That's real. Yeah. It's power. Absolutely. So that's number 2. And then the number 1 reason why I love this man, based on what I've seen of him online and on television, he just comes across as a genuine, authentic, real dude. Like he said that the way that he behaves on reality TV is the same way he is in real life. And you can't deny that eye roll, man. That's authenticity.
Iconic.
That's authenticity.
Authenticity?
So yeah, this man has a hold on me currently. I do feel like I'm going to need a severe psychological break from him at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of girlies are feeling the same way. Yeah, but that's who I'm thinking about. That's who I'm dreaming about.
And if you follow us on Instagram, we made a really great collaborative post between the two of us, truly.
It's so good.
It's so good. Go look at it. Go like it. It's just us being like, oh, I guess we have a type, and just comparing Rob to Johnny Knoxville and just putting two super hot images side by side of the two of them.
And let's see if we can make it big and see if he can get him on Jackass, because that would be epic.
That would be lovely. Okay, so that's our things that we talked about. Now it is time for our fun little segment to wrap up the episode where we do a this or a that. So this one is streaming music versus purchasing physical media. And I go first, right?
You're first.
Right. Okay, I'm going to say this was a tough one, but I'm thinking I'm going to say physical media because I just think I listened to more music and was more into music when I was buying CDs at the time. And I think that, yeah, having streaming is so great for so many reasons, but I actually don't think I find a lot of new artists specifically through streaming. I think I still find new artists through like word of mouth or, you know, your favorite artist kind of thing. So I don't think it really does much for me. And I actually think through streaming, I probably listen to more crap than I would have if I had physical media, because some of these things I wouldn't be buying a physical CD of for like one song. So I feel like I'm kind of just like listening to bullshit that doesn't really give me anything, doesn't really excite me, doesn't really provide for me in any sort of way. Yeah. So I'm going to say physical media.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm going to say physical media also. And for the same reasons that you said, but additionally, I would say that I feel overwhelmed by choice with like Spotify. Like when I am in the mood to listen to something, I feel like there's too many options, even though I save the albums that I'd like to listen to more often than others. I just feel like I don't know what to pick. And then I end up just picking the same album over and over again. I used to have like a Walkman when I was a kid and I had my CD collection, and I would usually just keep the same CD in there for like a week or whatever and just listen to the same album over and over again. And I just kind of liked that. It was different. Listening to music when you're a kid is a lot different to listening to music when you're an adult. But I feel like I got more into albums and like the whole thing. I would learn the lyrics faster. I just really kind of miss that, like just being obsessed with an artist because I had their physical record and I would just be playing it over and over again.
Maybe I'll start getting into CDs. Maybe I'll buy a CD player. I don't know.
Do it. I mean, I still have my CDs. Like, they just don't get played. They gather dust, and then I don't really play them on Spotify. So it's, you know, it's complicated because Spotify is easy. It's right there. You know, you can bring it with you anywhere. But there's just something really special and intentional about putting on a physical album rather than just pressing play on your phone. I think that's all I'm saying.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Anyways, if you're listening, let us know what you think. That's it from us today. And we're going to have another episode for you soon. Let's hope. Okay, bye. Thank you for listening. Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.